I'll never forget Real Talk Kim saying to me that, there we go, Real Talk Kim, I keep seeing the live pop back and forth. So
Yeah, I don't know what's happening right now. It's live
uh,
though.
that's so bizarre. Okay, so I'll never forget Real Talk Kim saying to me, I asked her, how did you grow your platform to millions of people? And she said, I'm always curious, right? And she said, I said, or no, that's not actually what I asked her. I said, who do you have posting your stuff? And she said, nobody, because everybody sucks. She didn't really say those words. She said, because she's so biblical, but she's also so honest. She said, there's just nobody reliable and they're all flaky. And I'm going to tell you that is the feedback that most people who are succeeding say. They say people are flaky. They say they're going to do something. They own something and they don't do it. And if you look in your own life, every time you set a goal or aspiration and you didn't hit it, guess what you were? Flaky. And you have your reason for it, but you were flaky. And so I'm really big. Jonathan and I were talking about this morning as well. I think from a humble place, there's a lot of things I'm not good at, and coaching I'm very good at. And I can't tell you, you guys are coming to Zone Event. When you hear people on the stage that have coached with me, I'm actually having my clients this time do spotlight moments and actually teach, like, here's what I did. I did this, I priced it this price point. This is how I thought through my offerings, and I want to unleash your mind. But the reason why I'm doing that, or not the reason why I'm doing that, what you'll hear for you guys at Zone Event, what you'll actually hear is them say, I just followed the coaching. Right? I will never give you coaching that I think will work. And if I give you coaching that I think will work, I will say to you in all honesty, I'm not sure if this will work, but I think it will work. Okay. And it's very rare I give that coaching. And so I find success incredibly reliable. And if you do certain things, you will succeed. Right. And when you get a little lazy in your give, you switch models, you're going to find that you're going to go through a bumpy road. And some of you guys switch models all the time. Okay. You run up against something that you don't like. It doesn't feel good. It's like we often teach a lot of people summits, how to do like interview series and do summits. And it's like the easiest model on the planet. The first time you do it, for some people, a lot of people, it feels like it's so confronting. It's just, you have to confront your identity of failing, of people not liking you because they don't say yes to you. Like, it's all identity crisis stuff. Can we agree with that? Put an ID in the chat. If you hear me for ID, for identity, put an ID in the chat. So it's so like, even confusion. I put so confusing. I'm like, yeah, but confusion is not from God, right? Like, it is literally, like, when you guys who get confused really easily, that's not new to you. Like, it's not that the situation is confusing, it's how you deal with pressure. So I want you to write down the word pressure right now. Everybody has a pattern. So I get mad, right? I told you guys that a couple days ago. Right? I get mad. Like, I have so much bandwidth. My dear friend Mariana used to work for me for many, many years. She was first a student. Her husband enrolled them both in hardcore leadership. They were on the brink of divorce. She shares this story, so I'm not sharing anything that she wouldn't share. They were on brink of divorce. They were newlyweds on the brink of divorce. And he was driving them to San Diego from San Francisco, and they were going into a live training room called Hardcore Leadership. And anyway, long story short, they did hardcore leadership, and I can always see somebody in hardcore leadership. Right? If I'm in the room, I can see who you are and who you're going to become. Right? And I saw Mariana, and this girl she was a pit bull for her own transformation. Right? Like, she took full responsibility. She just got delivered from a lot of her stuff, and her marriage got on track, and they crushed it. And then I developed a role for her in hardcore business. And she worked with me for many, many years until recently. Her and her husband started buying dental practices and growing them. Anyway, long story short, the reason why I share that with you is because she used to say to me all the time, how do you have so much patience with people? Like, I just don't have that type of patience. Like, I want to rip their hair out. Like, she's awesome, but she's just like, let's go, And Jonathan, you're like that, right? You're like, come on, dude. Like, if you're not going to level up, I'm just not going to talk to you anymore. I don't mean customers and clients, but he is like that with team. Like, if you cannot level up, he doesn't have the space for you, right? And so I have developed this crazy bandwidth. And even when we were looking at next year, I want to do a beginning of the year. And actually, let me do a survey with you. How many of you guys would like to start the year where I can spend 5, 7, 8 days with you, showing you how to prime your mind for a money flow miracle, right? Because you guys coming to Zone Event, you're going to get fired up. And then if I drop into your life, for people who are not meant to be live, if I drop into your life, let's call it second or third week of January, it will help you just, you know what I mean? Like, go. And it's how I create all content, right? I create all content from a place of like, how do I create content online that explodes people? And Shand on Demand is how I can create consistency with you. But it will change. The model won't change. We're committed to building out this on-demand platform because I think you're going to need it over the next 2 years. And I might be done with it after that. But I'm telling you, it's something that we talk about internally. We're like, you need the consistency, but I can also do explosions where maybe I take off Shanda on Demand, or I do it and I have like 5, 6, 7, 8 days. I have to build out the content for it. But we were looking at it and I said, I was looking at the calendar this morning. I was like, let's put it in my flex week. And I was like, no, I can't do that. Because if I do that, not because I'm trying to get more time on the golf course, which I absolutely don't do, and Jonathan does do. You guys who don't know Jonathan, he's my chief marketing officer. I think the best way I should motivate him is to tell him I'll get him new clubs from Callaway Golf and put him on Pebble Beach. Then he would never miss a mark, right? And so anyway, so I was gonna put this week, this challenge, whatever we want to call it, I was gonna put it in my flex week this morning, and I stopped myself. How many of you guys? I hate the word overgive, but you get so wrapped up in giving that sometimes you negate or you neglect yourself. Any of you guys put yes in the chat? If that's you, put yes in the chat. Okay, so that's a leadership breakdown. It is not who you are. It is not your identity. It's a leadership breakdown. And you can't wear the badge of honor as an overgiver. Because if you want to hang out at the tables of, like Jesse says, Sarah's husband, when he was broke, he used to go to a high-level 5-star hotel in Los Angeles and he worked at the lobby. Why? Some of you guys keep working in your house in isolation. When you hear a story like that and you still don't get dressed and go down to a hotel lobby. And I don't mean once, because that's a crapshoot. I mean effing sit there for 6 months, Monday through Friday, and that's where you work for 3 or 4 hours a day. You order a salad or you order a burger, you have your coffee there, you're just there. The hotel will not kick you out. They will not. You are drinking, eating, all of that, it's all good. And you will meet people. They will sit down next to the lobby, they'll sit down in the coffee shop. You know what I mean? My first VIP days ever were at the Ritz-Carlton. Was it Ritz-Carlton? Yeah, it was the Ritz-Carlton, and it was St. Regis or Ritz-Carlton, whatever one in Laguna Beach that is on the beach. I think it's the Ritz-Carlton. I think the St. Regis is across the street. Anyway, I can still see the lounge. There was a window that showed the beach and the hillside, like the cliffs. And I went to this lounge that wasn't open, and I would start my VIP days early in the morning. And there's a coffee shop that would be open. I grabbed my coffee shop. Some of you guys are waiting for the perfect venue to do a meeting. You're looking for, like, I can't bring people to my house because it's not that nice. I mean, use a freaking hotel. You know what I mean? Like, you have to become resourceful. So the reason why we succeed or don't succeed has everything to do with our resourcefulness. Now, there's some of you guys who think you're rock stars, and you're not. You know why you're not? You are still being flaky with your commitments. Okay, so if I have to work till midnight tonight, I will do it. My husband worked till 1:30 in the morning last night. It wasn't on work, it was on a golf cart because I told him I really wanted the golf cart done today. My husband is now has 4 golf carts, but 3 that he created. They're called My Rhino Cart. And he was going to start selling them, and now he decided he's not going to sell them. We're going to have our own personal brand. I told him he should have put the RR like Rolls Royce on the back of the seats. He was like, "Why didn't you tell me that before?" I was like, "Well, you didn't consult with your wife." So all that to be said, a little husband-wife moment. All that to be said, when you get locked onto a vision, it's not about balance. Okay, I'm not saying you are your results in life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying your integrity is connected to your results. Do you guys get that? This is all stuff we talk about in HCL. And some people get it at a really deep level. Like before I ever did that program, before I ever owned that program, I did the program. And that's when I did $170 million in real estate. I had no marketing budget. I didn't spend a dollar. I did it all through joint venture partnerships. You guys at Zone Event, I'm going to open all that up, whether you're in real estate, whatever, right? It's like, my point is anybody can do this. I'm doing it right now, but I'm not the one leading it. Somebody else is in the company leading it. I will tell you whatever I do works. What about you? Because it's not that you're not going to run into challenges. It's that you have to be so effing obsessed with the one thing you're working on, tracking it. Write that down. You must track your results. And the more you track your results in a day, up on the wall, not in a book, right? Like most of my stuff is in a book right now. You know why? Because I'm not leading them. And I'm telling you, it's like you have got to be able to lead it, because if you can't lead it, you can't hold the standard. Right? I have a super high standard. I have a high standard to be my husband. I have a high standard to work close to me. I have a high standard to work with me. Right? There's a lot of people I could renew to work really close to me right now, and they're not all invited. Not because they're not superstars, but because unless you're going to go after it and hit the target all the time, it doesn't make sense for you to coach close to me. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, does it make sense if you're not going to take the advice and honor it with a deadline and hit it no matter what, then honestly, I'm going to go have lunch with my son. And you might not like me saying that, but I am telling you what every brilliant mind says behind closed doors. When I say, why don't we make you I literally just messaged somebody today, and I was like, we should do XYZ. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm still in the process of enrolling for you, by the way, an offer for you. And this person's like, I am loving that, but I don't want to commit to that long term. I'll do it for a year. I was like, yeah, but they're not going to need you for a year. They're going to need you for 2, 3, or 4. I know, but it's so hard. Yeah, because you make so much effing money. Right? She makes $500,000 a month, passive. It's really hard to get someone like that to come give, even though they're super giving. And the reason why is they don't want the drama that comes with less money. And you might not like me saying that, but I'm giving you the truth that nobody else says. Because the less money people make, the more they complain, the more they think they know, and the more they think everything should be perfect, because they still hold themselves to this standard that they're not perfect. And they bitch and complain at the people they love for not being perfect, and they don't understand vision. So here's what it looks like with a lot of money. I don't want to talk to you about the problem, but like, what did you do to fix it? Because I just don't believe anything is not fixable. And that is a mindset that has to flip before the money comes in. You guys hearing me? Yes? So every time you hear yourself complaining to somebody, know that you have a need to be right. And if you go and talk to other people about it and then build your story, that's what analytical people do. Controlling analyzers go and talk to other people about their point, and their point's usually right. And they build the story, right? Our trainer, Michael, talks about this so well. You think I'm telling you, you got unhooked from this stuff because you cannot work your way to success. You cannot work your way to success. You become reliable enough that no matter what's happening in the storm, you still hit it, because while everybody's over here complaining, you're enrolling. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Which means that you must have a bold enough message that people will not like you. And you must be talking boldly every single day. And the softest, sweetest person is still bold. We all have strong opinions about some things in our life. And so you can't say, I'm not Shanda. Actually, it's not really a pet peeve of mine anymore, but it used to be. People are like, I'm not like you, Shanda. I'm like, are you serious? I was the most shy person ever. So here's the story that I wanted to tell you. I have felt so blocked in all coaching other than Shanda On Demand. Every pocket coaching I've been trying to do, everything, every email, every messaging around the zone event. I mean, let me just be really clear. I'm going to show you how to do 7-figure months, 7-figure years, 7-figure days, or 7-figure weekends. And I'm going to show you how to do that in any industry. You pick your ambition. That's what I'm doing at Zone Event. But do you know how hard it's been for me to be in promotion mode? And I know why. Because I'm not leading it on the front end. I'm shifting my role. And it's so hard to shift my role because connection gets broken. Write this down. Whenever something's not working, it's because you've got a connection break. Connection is always currency. This is in your marriages, it's in your parenting, it's in your friendships, it's in the closeness of your family, it's in your businesses, it's in everything. If you want authority, you must have connection. So let me explain that for a second. You can't just think because you know somebody that if you go and talk to them, that your voice will land. If all of the connection they have with you is complaining, telling them what's wrong, you know what I mean? You don't feel good to them. And if you don't feel good to them, you can't land your communication, even if it's from a good place. Are you guys hearing me? Yes or no? How many of you guys know you have some relationships you need to clean up because you really want something to change, right? You really want something to change. And so I'm telling you, everything is leadership, right? You really want something to change, and you're going to have to take a step back. There's somebody messaged me the other day and said, I go on these walks with my husband, and I ask him, she heard my live where I said, I asked my husband, where are we, 1 to 10? Or he asked me, where are we, 1 to 10? Right? And I was a 10 the other day, and he was an 8 with me. And so I think I enrolled him to be a 10 though, right? Because 8 or 10 has everything to do with perception, what you see, right? It's all what you see, and it's also connected with how you personally feel. So some of you guys feel like you're not in 10 out of 10 relationships with your money or the people you're doing life with or whatever. And some of that's accurate, but it's you have a breaking connection, which means your authority goes gone. So the reason why I was able to enroll my husband is because in the miracle walk that we were doing, this was last week, I'm all thinking we're a 10 out of 10. He's like, I'd say an 8, 9. I was like, he goes, why are we a 10 out of 10 to you? And I said, because I just love watching you live life. And that's just the emotional state that I was in. I was like, I just love watching you go after, high burst. I love seeing you help our team at Heartcore and all your dedication there. I love that you built these crazy golf carts that are probably the classiest golf carts I've ever seen. I love the emotional state you're in right now. And I love how you love me. And he was like, yeah, we probably are a 10 out of 10, aren't we? You know what I mean? I share this with you Because if you have a breaking communication, which is connection, right? They go hand in hand, then you can't sell anything. You can't fill anything. You can't lead anything. And you definitely cannot make change. I believe that there are people right now that are watching this live, that you want to make a change with someone, something in your career, whatever it is, your family, you want to make a change and you feel like you're hitting your head up against the wall. I'm going to tell you why. You're not being heard, but it's not their fault. It's not their fault that you're not being heard. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying you're responsible. And you have to change the way that you speak with people. So some of you guys need to go back, and I want you to have an honest moment with yourself and go, if you need to repair something or pour into someone, okay? So I can't go ask my business partner. If I look at my business partner and I just am irritated as you know what with, and I think that they're doing everything wrong, right? Or they're a great person, but whatever. You guys follow me? This could be life partner, business partner, whatever. If I go to them, my energy, everything that comes out of my mouth will feel like criticism. You see what I'm saying? So how do you restore your voice so you're heard? Go into empathy. So what does empathy look like? Business partner or husband or wife or best friend or mother. I did this with my mother, right? It's like, hey, I can see that you're under a lot of stress, or I could see that you've got some things that you're working through. I want to be a safe place for you to share that. And I'm sorry that sometimes I feel like I'm pretty hard on you. That might be a personal thing. In a business relationship, it's like, hey, you know what? I never stop and ask you like what you're walking through. I feel like you're always getting the complaints, the criticism, you're responsible for all this stuff. And I never ever really check in with you how you're doing. How are you doing with all of this? Like, I know things need to change. I know that, how are you doing with all of this? You want to get authority, you start leading yourself like that. Now, customers or clients, my email list is dead and nobody's listening. My social media, nobody engages. Yeah, that's not them. It's not nobody engages. You need to take responsibility. They're not engaging for a reason. What is it? I'm going to go take another course to figure out. No. You can figure out all the tactics. Go to YouTube. You got to figure this out. The words that come out of your mouth locate you. They tell people where you're located. And I'm telling you, some of you guys are not a safe place and you're trying to create change in a relationship, a business, or something, and you can't create change effectively. And you're so pissed off that it's a total blind spot. I do a whole challenge. That's a 2-week challenge on blind spots. And the reason why I do it is because I want you to get your power back. You know what I mean? And it's like you're banging your head against the wall is not the way to win. And it's certainly not to destroy somebody else's character, personality, or any of that. You ain't going to heaven for that, right? Especially if you're a believer. You can believe all you want. Satan knows God's alive too. It doesn't get you into heaven. You guys get what I'm saying? Just being a good person doesn't get you into heaven. How are you treating people? Right? How are you stewarding your leadership with people? How are you stewarding your finances? That is leadership. So I'm going to encourage you today to really think about this, because part of the reason why I say money loves speed is because when you overthink things, they don't come together fast and somebody else will go build messy and win. So if you think that you need to have it all together to make money, most of you already know that that's not true. Because almost everybody has a story somewhere that everything was a mess and it worked. Why? Because attitudes were in check and team was working together. And when team's not working in the household, in business partnerships, in family members, but my Aunt Lorna is so challenging. I have an Aunt Lorna and we get along just fine. And we get along just fine because I started taking responsibility for the fact that I thought she was cuckoo and just a pain in the ass to be around. And I had to change my viewpoint, like my husband, 8 out of 10, me, a 10 out of 10. I had to change my viewpoint so that I could actually appreciate my version of Aunt Lorna. She's kind of the black sheep in the family. And do you know how much I've learned about her perspective? No, so many people don't understand her black sheep way of doing things, because somehow we have this rule in the world that says, if you and I don't believe the same about politics, we cannot be friends. If you and I don't think the same about unless you're vegan and I'm paleo, I mean, there's some crossover and some friendship there, but God knows if you take pharmaceuticals and I don't, we cannot be friends. You're the Antichrist. Like, it's wild how blind spot people are about the fact that, listen, you guys, we would not have diversity in this world if we all freaking thought and looked the same. That's creativity. It's interesting conversations. It's also where growth comes. And growth does not come from being right. It comes from empathy. And when you start to understand what other people are walking, that's when you become team in your leadership. And now you can be heard. So I'm about tired of anybody saying my voice is not heard. I think it's the weakest statement you could say. Your voice is not heard because you do not lead it effectively. And if you take any other stance than that, I promise you, you will be frustrated. And you can leave that marriage, leave that business, shut down those marketing campaigns. We have a rule inside of Heartcore. We don't quit until we hit the mark. We hit the mark and we want to quit, we're good to go. We can quit. We did it. Because there's nothing worse for a business owner than to lose your confidence. And nobody takes your confidence. You give it away. And you give it away in a very slight, deceptive way that is a complete blind spot. Who's learning something today? Who's learning something? Okay. Who knows that they need to take their power back right now? Right? Put the word power if you know you need to take your power back. And I don't mean you need to go stand up to somebody and make yourself be heard. That's domination. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about leadership is you get into team. I'll end on this. When I felt blocked content-wise, what I did was I actually did a piece of content that talked about being blocked and all of the feelings I was feeling around being blocked. And it really was this new level of people pleaser. It was this new level of people pleaser. And when I go way back to when I started working on my leadership, guess what the stronghold on my life was? Being a people pleaser. And I thought that was completely done. I mean, I'm bold. I speak about what I believe in. I have no issue with you knowing whether or not, I took a shot or didn't. I really believe that your opinion of me is on you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't need your approval. However, that surfaced recently where it was a total blind spot and I felt so blocked. And until I sat down and got intimate, and this is where I do love journaling. And do not love journaling to motivate you. I love journaling to think. I love journaling to process through something. Okay? I track daily on my goals. Whether it's income, numbers, whatever, I track daily. Customer service, client retention, billing, whatever. Everything in my life, I want to track daily. And I want an end-of-day report on anything that's a really important factor in my life. I want an end-of-day report. I want to see where did we land, right? And so I journaled and I got intimate. Now, this is something we say in leadership as well. You don't have a time conversation. If you have a time issue, you actually have an intimacy issue. And it really hurts my heart when I hear people say, I can't do something because my kid has a basketball game. And the reason why it hurts my heart is I'm not saying, listen, if you can't go to the basketball games and it's the only basketball game or you don't make it to a lot, okay, yes, you have a leadership problem. Because if you can't make it to the majority of your kids' games, either you don't want to, or you have a leadership problem. But if your bank is full, meaning that I go to my son's karate, if I can't go to his karate because there's something that came up, it doesn't hurt my emotional bank account with my son. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Because it's not empty. It's not half full. It's way full. You get what I'm saying? So it doesn't hurt my bottom line with him. Like I never want to miss his birthday, but if there was something that was, if I wasn't doing well in my business and there was an event, like zone event, and I'm not saying zone event, could be anything, 100M group, whatever, right? If I wasn't doing well in my business and it was Zach's birthday and the event that I knew would help me set up my life, I would miss Zach's birthday. And I know that some of you guys would judge me on that. But here's what I would do. I would set up something 20 times better with my son, like taking him to Disneyland, or I would do something and I would make an agreement with him. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Now, if it was a casual event, I wouldn't do it. I would be at his birthday. But if it was like, I'm sucking wind, which hurts me from being your mother because I'm stressed out or not conscious or not present, then and this is what, I'm going to say it, this is what low income people do all the time. They say, everything's family. Nobody said it wasn't. Nobody said it wasn't. And nobody said you had to sacrifice everything to make money or build a business. But there are some priorities that some of you guys need to do. And because you don't make enough money, it actually affects years of you being able to be present with your kids or present with your husband or wife, or be able to spend time with your family. You're a grandparent, you only see your grandchildren once or twice a year. That's a freaking problem. Like, raise your standards. That's a problem. That is your legacy. You know way more than your kids know about raising that kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, my mom knows so much about being a parent over and top of what I know. And so does my mother-in-law. I might do things different than them, but what they pour into them is amazing. Anybody grew up with a great grandma? You spent a lot of time with them. I did. I had 2 great grandmas I spent a lot of time with, and they poured a lot into my life. I wish they would have taught me how to cook, but they poured a lot into my life, and they were there for some really key moments in my life that I will never forget. And I know how important that grandparent relationship is. And so I'm here saying, listen, I definitely don't know it all, but I know how to prioritize things so that it all works. And money is a part of that. And you got to run your life so that when moments come up where you feel stuck or you have to make a hard decision, that you're not in a position where you're at a lack or a hard, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not at a lack with my husband. I'm not at a lack with my mother. I'm not at a lack with my son. I am at a lack with my dad right now. You know what I mean? I am at a lack. I just sent him his favorite coffee to surprise him at his house, right? And just to kind of give him a little like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I love you. But I'm at a lack with him right now. And I know that. And so balance isn't the game. I got to shore up. He doesn't have to shore up. I have to shore up because I'm the one who's noticing it. So I'm going to end on this. When you notice there's a problem, that means you have what it takes to solve it. I'm going to repeat that. When you notice there's a problem, that means you have the ability and it's up to you to solve it. It doesn't mean you have to do everything. But I will tell you, there was a woman that is actually going to be at Zone Event that she was doing my leadership program, and it was her daughter's birthday. And she was going into breakthrough, which is the second part. And she goes, it's my daughter's birthday. And I said, she goes, I cannot miss it. Like, I cannot, we're getting along so well. She's a teenager. After vision, which is the first part of the training, like, we're so connected. I go, have you ever thought to sit down with your daughter and ask her? Because I really wanted this woman to stay with her team all the way through, right? Vision breakthrough practice. I wanted her to have the full experience because her life was really challenged before that. A lot of drama, a lot of breakdowns with the ex, like, just a lot. And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that, Shen. I go, do me a favor. You don't have to go into breakthrough. I always love to take the pressure off. You don't have to go to Zone. You don't have to go to breakthrough. You don't have to go on that vacation. You don't have to sell that program out, product, service. You don't have to do any of it. But let's just play with me and be in the conversation. Go have a conversation with your boss about going to your mastermind, or go have a conversation with your spouse about buying that new car. Like, step into it, have courage, but step into it, not for you just winning, but for them winning. And that's how you have to sell, by the way. It's the same leadership in your personal life as it is in creating great wealth. And it is 100% in your power to be able to do this. Okay. You want great wealth. You got to be able to have these great conversations in leadership with the people you love. Most of it is your issue, not theirs, right? Like my girlfriend going through leadership was like, she didn't want, she's finally connected with her teen again, having these great conversations. She didn't want to not be there for her birthday. She thought it led the wrong message. When she sat down with her daughter, she said, I won't do this if it's going to hurt you, but I would like to finish this leadership course, which falls on your birthday. Would it be okay if we figure something out, like whatever you want to do to make up for it? Like, we can do a 3-day birthday, we could do a camping trip, we could do, and what do you want? Like, but I don't want to do it if it's really like, I have to have you here, then I'm going to stay. And her daughter said to her, Mommy, I've never seen you so happy in my entire life. You need to do this. Go finish the program. It was a huge breakthrough for this woman going through hardcore leadership, because how she had it wired and how her daughter had it wired was totally different. Her daughter wanted her mother to keep coming back into her life at that present way. They were very close, but they weren't like, it's like my husband is very close to his family, but when he was doing leadership, he realized he didn't have intimacy. Do you know what I mean? Like, he didn't have intimacy with certain family members. And that was a big deal for him, because he had the experience that we were super close. But then he realized that he didn't really have real conversations. You know what I mean? How much of a blessing is that, to be able to have real conversations with the people you love? So that's all I got for you today. I wanted to be real. I know it can be a little bit of a rub, and I know it takes a lot of courage to go and have some of these conversations with people. But if you want to lead something and you're not leading it effectively, the first thing that you have to do is ask yourself, like, it's not where did you lose authority? You did lose authority somewhere if you can't either be heard or be effective to move something forward. And you're going to need this skill everywhere. So I just want to just almost pray over everybody right now and just say, you know, I'm praying right now that you have the courage to be able to go and have the conversation with the person that you're thinking of right now. And instead of trying to be right or proving a point or making them wrong, I just pray that you have a perception shift over your eyes, and so that you see them in the light that God sees them in. And I pray that whatever relationship needs to get back on track, that it gets back on track, because I trust you that where you want to lead it is good and pure, and it's important. And so I just pray that you get your authority back, because you can build the relationship and connection so you can take it all the way to the finish line. So maybe you don't get to land your communication until next week, or maybe 2 weeks from now. But build something, be a builder, be an investor in your future. And I will tell you, it doesn't take long to become a millionaire. You guys come in a zone event, I'm going to show you, right? It doesn't take long to become a millionaire. It doesn't take long to turn your family around. Sometimes it takes 1 to 3 conversations. And when somebody stops getting blamed or stops, feeling criticized, even if you're right, well, then now you can start teaming up and move something forward. So whether this is virtual assistants, whether this is in your personal life, whether this is with your customers or clients or whatever, maybe you call them patients if you're a doctor. I don't know where things have gotten disconnected, but what I do know is you have the authority to put it back on track, starting with today. So I hope today's Shand on Demand was good. I hope it was impactful, you guys. I'm sending you so much love. I will see you tomorrow, and everybody else on Zoom.
I'm going to pop on. Shanda, pop me on.
Go, pop you on.
Pop me on, Keith. All right, a couple of you have still reached out regarding Zone hotels. Link's not working, whatever the case may be. On social, I'm going to post. You have 3 options.
By the way, hold on. This is a great example of what I mean. Like, we could sit there and be frustrated that there has been so many. I mean, who's going to Zone event? Put Zone in the chat. Let me tell you something, you guys. Put Zone in the chat. Here's why this is important. I have never seen, and neither is our event team. They do traffic and conversion. They do, 10,000, 15,000 person events. They're like, we have never seen in the history of any event so many breakdowns with the hotel ever. Right? And so we could sit there and be a victim to that, or we can connect with you more. And connection is currency. Connection brings clarity, right? And then we get this thing moving. So, Jonathan, go. I just love your.
All right. So if you've used the link, you've run into issues. The link is saying there's no more rooms, whatever the case may be. We have more rooms available.
I have to interrupt you again. I forgot to put this part. You guys are walking into the room at Zone Event. I believe. I don't know. I already heard that there was going to be a transfer of wealth. Like a bit, like it was in anointing, which means that your power, your purpose. And so there's something happening. You guys give me grace to tell you this, even if this stuff triggers you. I'm telling you, there's going to be, you're going to get your power at a very, very big level in that room. It's not going to be because of me. Okay. Like there is a crazy anointing over this event, and the people who are in that room and the people who you think should be in that room, you should go get them today. Okay. Because the event is in 13 days. But my point is, anybody that you want to win in your life, you should have in that room with you, because there is a complete breaking of chains, hell, strongholds, things that you can't explain on why your money hasn't popped, or support. Like, you're going to get your power so that, where I said your heart, when you speak, people are coming. When you speak, people are coming. Okay. And that's happening in that room. I can't tell you why I know this. I heard the voice. I've had the visions, and it's wild. And so what I said to Jonathan, I was like, I don't know why Satan doesn't want me to do this event. But what I do know is there is a massive, massive explosion of an up level. We are all going to know who we are at that next level. I'm going to know it. You're going to know it. We're all going to know it. This is a really pivotal event. It's taken us 4 years to get this event back on the books. And you know how sometimes you look back in your life, you can connect the points. It's like, I have been trying for 4 years to get this event booked. And the event teams just have kept saying, I can't get you in the room. I can't get you in the room. I can't get you in the room. And so I go to another event team. I can't get you a hotel. I can't get you a hotel. Nothing's available on these days. I'm talking, well, out of the 4 years, one was lockdown. 3 years. Like, if you believe anything in spirituality, I'm telling you, this is not a tiny breakthrough. This is monumental. Like, this is like before and after. And so if you're getting a moment where you're like, oh, I can't make it, do not let that beat you. Do not let that beat you, because I'm telling you, that's another way to pull you out so that you don't get that blessing. Okay, so you need to stay committed to completion energy and be there no matter what, even if you have to bring your 12 kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to do it. Because I'm telling you, we're going to be writing some crazy stuff after this event, because you're not just going to get something interesting. You are going to unlock. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, I know if you don't believe in this shit, you think I'm batshit crazy, but you're going to feel FOMO afterwards when you see these people crush it, right? And you don't want that. Millionaires are being created. Multimillionaires are being created. $1 million days are coming, right? And it's not because of the money. It's about the movement in you that's getting unlocked. Okay, we're giving you the tactics, but there is a spiritual unlocking, and it's wild. I've never seen anything like this. It's wild, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. Go ahead, Jonathan.
All right, so I'm posting 3 options. If you already have a room, you're good to go. If you've run into issues, there's a phone number. All you have to do is call the phone number. I just posted it in the chats on social, here in the mastermind. You just tell them your date, and you tell them that you're going to Zone, and they will give you the rate of $179 a night. If they do not, you just send me an email personally, and I'll get you that rate. But you have the phone number to call between business hours. If you call at 3 a.m. in the morning, there's a phone number for you as well, and you have an email.
The number from social, because social media might not have it on the link.
It's on social. So in-house reservations, I'm coming to Zone. 512-524-4560. I posted it on social as well, inside of the comments.
Somebody write this down. 512-524-4560. 4560. Anything else, Sir Hopkins?
The 27th, early registration. Be there, 3 p.m.
And if you see me in the hallways, please come give me a hug, because I'm going to be running around on the 27th all over the hotel room, all over the hotel. And on the 27th, 3 p.m. is registration. And Jonathan will be kicking off for you guys who have the funnel building workshop. We're going to show you 3 different funnels, and he's going to dive down deep on one of them that's going to really, really bless your life in 2024. So we're excited for you guys. We ain't going to wait till the event to make some money. We're going to show you how to make it before the event. So good. Thanks, Jonathan, for reaching on. You guys on social media, we're saying goodbye to you. And you guys on the On Demand Mastermind, we'll keep you here. All right. Bye. So